Hi Capricorn, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of December. It is unbelievable that this is the final horoscope for the year in this unforgettable epic of Capricorn, and you are about to hand over the torch and the stage to Aquarius. You are about to exit. It is now your time to exit the stage, and I hope you do so with grace because your time is up. No, I'm very happy about this. I'm sure you are too. You've been under the radar for a while, and this year has been unforgettable because the ruler of your sign, Saturn, met up with Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, on January 12th for this unforgettable conjunction that has changed the world. And now we conclude the year with less than a month of Saturn transiting in your sign, which it has been since December 20th of 2017. Pluto's been transiting in your sign since 2008 on and off. That is the planet of transformation. And it will be for a few more years. Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and abundance, entered your sign on December 2nd, and it will exit on December 19th. So that's almost done. And that is the planet of good fortune, but it exaggerates whatever it comes into contact with. And in this case, it's collapsing of old structures, it's restructuring, it's working with what is tangible and realistic in our lives, and a lot of loss and purging for all of us. And that has been the theme for everybody, but particularly you. All of this has happened in your house of self. Every Capricorn I know has gone through major changes, major beginnings and major endings. So it's a huge time, we will never ever see this much Capricorn again in our lifetime, because Saturn and Pluto meet up approximately every 34 to 36 years, and having Jupiter expand that narrative, and they had not met up in your sign for over 500 years. So we can say goodbye to this story. But let's see what December has before it's done. So we end the month of November with a lunar eclipse on November 30th that falls at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. And this falls in your sign of work and daily routine. And it brings a full moon eclipse is a completion. It brings fruition to things. It can bring endings. It can, in the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by the planet Mercury, I would imagine a lot of unexpected information. When we are in eclipse season, it's a heightened time of a lot of activity, a lot of major beginnings and major endings. You can hear things and get information about something that you never knew about before. Things get uncovered, and they also can make us see things in a way that we've never seen them before. But you can expect that it's a very frenetic and frenzied time, a lot of major change, and usually in a very rapid manner. So let's dive into the month. And also Neptune, which is transiting in your house of ideas in the sign of Pisces. Neptune stations direct on November 28th at 18 degrees of Pisces. So for all of us, we're going to be feeling that foggy energy, but the fog is getting lifted, and the month of December, a lot of information getting uncovered because we're going to be in eclipse season. So on the 1st of December, Mercury exits the sign of Scorpio, where it's been transiting for the majority of the fall, and it enters the sign of Sagittarius, which is in your house of dreams and manifesting and spirituality. And it'll be there until December 20th. And it's good for getting some rest, good for doing creative work and manifesting and meditating, because this has obviously been such a challenging year. And on the 5th of December, Venus, which is transiting in your house of friends and groups and networking in the sign of Scorpio, forms a beautiful trine to Neptune in Pisces. And that is a beautiful energy of creativity. It's good for romance, it's good for meeting people, it's good for creative work and partnering with friends on creative projects, and just a really nice energy. On the 9th of December, we have the sun, which is transiting in the sign of Sagittarius until December 21st in your house of the subconscious mind. That forms a square to Neptune in Pisces, and that could make you feel really foggy. Neptune, again, is transiting in your house of communication. You might get really vivid dreams around that time, but there could be miscommunication. Manifest with all of these Neptune cycles we have, because we've been dealing with such Saturn-driven energy this year, which is your ruler, and obviously all the planets transiting in Capricorn have been in your first house of self. Fundamental change, but we need to tune out a little bit. We need to rest. We need to be reminiscent too. And this is a very, very sad year. So in a sense, we need some of these Neptune cycles. I think that's why there are so many in the month of December. And on the 13th of December, we have another Neptune aspect. Mercury, which is the planet of communication, squares Neptune in the sky. And that's the day before the total solar eclipse on the 14th. So definitely, again, eclipses uncover information. Mercury is transiting in your house of hidden information, squaring Neptune in your house of communications. So you might find out some news. You might be feeling a bit wistful or tired. I mean, you've been really under the gun this year, so that would be understandable. But the following day, on the 14th of December, we have a total solar eclipse that occurs at 11:17 a.m. Eastern Time at 23 degrees and 8 minutes of the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius, and it falls in your 12th house of the imagination. It's a very manifesting new moon because it's ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet. Jupiter is still transiting in your sign until December 19th, and it's not in the strongest position. It is technically in its fall position in Capricorn. But Jupiter is the planet of optimism and expansion and higher learning. And it rules this really manifesting new moon, which falls in your house of the imagination. And in order to really manifest, you have to believe it's true. And with all of these Neptune cycles that are occurring in the month of December, that also helps us to really, get in touch with the feelings. It is sad energy. Neptune cycles are very sensitive and such, but again, we are all dealing with a very sad time, realistically. And on this total solar eclipse, Venus in Scorpio, in your house of friends and networking and groups, forms a beautiful sextile to Jupiter in your sign, in your first house of self. And that can help to bring new beginnings and to manifest. And Mercury, which is transiting in your house of the imagination, forms a beautiful trine to Mars, which is transiting in Aries, in your house of home and family and the emotional foundation. Mars has been in your house of family and home since June 27th, and it retrograded in Aries from September 9th until November 13th. So a lot of reflection about your security, about your foundation, and about home. And Mars did station direct on November 13th, and it clears Aries altogether on January 6th. But we're finally getting that momentum of moving forward. That has made things a lot more cumbersome in dealing with this historical Capricorn tale of collapsing of old structures, because your sign, among other things, represents limitations. We've all been working under massive limitations, and then to have Mars, which is the planet that gives us our initiative and drive, station retrograde in its rulership, has made it much more challenging, but we've gotten through, and it is now direct, so that's helpful. So use this really powerful solar eclipse to manifest what you want to have in your life. You've been working hard, and Saturn does reward your hard efforts. It's karmic rewards. So recognize that that is, the case, even though it may take a while and you may be thinking, I've been working really hard and I don't see these rewards. Keep going, okay? And on the 15th of December, Venus forms one other aspect to Jupiter in your sign, which is also a very helpful aspect. And then it leaves the sign of Scorpio and enters the sign of Sagittarius, where it'll transit until January 8th in your house of imagination and spirituality. Really good for doing creative work and also practicing self-care, taking care of yourself right now. And on the 15th of December, Chiron, which is the wounded healer, stations direct at 5 degrees of Aries in your house of family and security. Again, getting you in touch with all of the wounds and pain that you've experienced this year, also to heal, to center yourself, and to get security in this difficult time. And on the 16th or the 17th of December, drum roll please, Saturn leaves your sign and it enters the sign of Aquarius, which actually it does rule in ancient astrology. It rules your sign in modern astrology. It's more concerned with karma and authority and responsibility in your sign. And it also rules the sign of Aquarius in ancient astrology. Most people equate Aquarius with the wacky Uranian energy because in modern astrology, Uranus rules the sign of Aquarius, and that is the higher octave of Mercury, which deals with innovation and community and chaos and brilliance. But nonetheless, Saturn enters Aquarius at 9:04 p.m. Pacific time and 12:04 on the 16th of December and 12:04 a.m. Eastern time on the 17th. Or if you're in another time zone, adjust it to your time. And that's a huge deal. It leaves your first house of self. It's been there since December 20th of 2017. And now it's entering your house of money and income and what you value, and really committing to what you value. You've been working very hard the last few years, particularly this year, really underscoring the age of Aquarius. Never again will you ever have to deal with this. Make the most of it though, because this could bring long-term benefits that you have been in terms of creating new things or cultivating your skills working in these conditions. So Saturn enters your house of value. It'll be there on and off until March of 2023. Huge deal. Then on the 19th of December, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance, exits your first house of self and enters your house of money and income and what you value, enters the sign of Aquarius. Really exciting for all of us because it brings lots of opportunity to connect, to network. It's going to be a technological revolution. While many of us struggle with the loss of jobs and certain things that are completely gone, certain structures in our lives are gone forever, and some are pivoting temporarily. The age of Aquarius will create many new jobs and possibilities to connect. A lot of breakthroughs as we transition to this new age. So on the 19th, Jupiter enters Aquarius, and on that day, Venus in Sagittarius forms a beautiful trine to Chiron. And I think, and Chiron is the wounded healer, and Chiron's transiting in your house of security. And on that same day, the sun in Capricorn forms a conjunction the sun will still be in Sag, sorry. The sun in Sagittarius in your house of the imagination forms a conjunction to Mercury. And I think through knowledge and Venus trining Chiron through love, through healing the wounds, this shows me the age of Aquarius, all of the infinite possibility and excitement through our love and through our seeking of knowledge and community. I think the age of Aquarius is going to be very exciting. And so on the 20th of December, Mercury exits Sagittarius and enters your sign and your first house of self and new beginnings. It'll be there until January 8th, so a lot of communication and networking for you and just pitching ideas and promoting yourself. And then on the 21st of December, the sun enters your sign at 5:02 a.m. and that begins the winter solstice, which is when the sun stops still for 3 days and we reflect on the year we've had, on the people we've lost and we love, and the people that are with us and what we want 2021 to be. And later that day, the really exciting part about this winter solstice is that at 1:21 p.m. Eastern Time, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and higher learning, meets up with Saturn, the planet of structure, at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius in your second house of income and money and what you value. Use that day to honor what you want to target, what you want to create in your life, what's of value to you. Also use the solstice, by the way, on the 14th of December to really focus on what you want to initiate and create in your life, because that's an excellent day for setting intentions and doing the law of abundance. And again, that total solar eclipse on the 14th is falling in your house of imagination. So those are both really good days for focusing on what you want to initiate. And certainly many days in the month of December, they may feel very emotional. They will. I mean, Neptune will have just stationed direct in the beginning of December, and that's very sensitive energy. But also it helps us to manifest dreams. We do not want to give up on our dreams, and that's where we want to go forward. And community and futuristic thinking is where we're all headed, and that's a big deal. And on the 24th of December or the 25th, depending on where you are, Mercury in your sign, in your first house of self, forms a beautiful trine to Uranus in Taurus, in your house of creativity and love affairs. And that's a really creative energy, really innovative. And then on the 25th or the 26th, the sun in your sign squares Chiron in the house of family and security, and puts us all in touch with the wounds that we're all feeling and the pain that we're collectively feeling in this difficult year. And on the 27th of December, the sun in your sign forms a beautiful trine to Uranus, again showing us the possibility, the innovation and hopefulness, I think, of the age of Aquarius. It's going to bring so many opportunities to network for all of us while we are pivoting. And on the 29th of December, there's a full moon in Cancer that falls in your house of relationships. Now, up until this summer, the eclipses were in your sign axis in Capricorn and Cancer. And we had the final eclipse in Cancer on the solstice weekend in your house of relationships. And we had the final lunar eclipse in your sign on July 5th. So we're done with the eclipses in your sign. I mean, we're going to be in eclipse season, but for the first time in a few years, the eclipses are not in Capricorn or Cancer. So you're not the one under the spotlight anymore. And I think you'll be okay with that fact. So, and on the final day of December, the moon will be in the sign of Leo, which rules the heart chakra. And it's in your house of habits and daily routine. No, sorry, it's in your house of healing and transformation. And it forms a trine to Chiron. And that also shows me through opening our hearts that we will heal in this difficult time and the hopefulness of the age of Aquarius. So I wish you all a lot of luck. It's been quite a year, and you've been the forerunner of the year. And I thank you. Take care. Happy New Year. All right. Bye-bye.